Hello. Our group would like to present on the importance of hobbies for mental health. My name is Denham Wolf, and I just want to start by giving an overview as to why we believe that hobbies are crucial not only for emotional well being, but also for finding fulfillment in life. So, studies have found that hobbies correlate to a lot of benefits of a healthy life, whether it's length of life, whether it's happiness, it can even correlate to overall wealth. Hobbies connect us with interests and desires. A lot of times we find ourselves drawn to activities that interest us, activities that can help us grow as a person, that can help us discover new new things to try, new experiences to share with other individuals or with ourselves. More time into hobbies also means more personal fulfillment. A lot of people have hobbies such as volunteer work, such as humanitarian work, things like that. And those hobbies can really help us connect to other people and really help us to relate to them on a personal level. Hobbies range in variety from humanitarian experiences to video games to reading to weightlifting. There's so many different hobbies, and that's the beauty of having a hobby to help find fulfillment in your life. Is there's so much variety that there's something out there that you will enjoy. And what's great is that whatever it is that you enjoy, whatever it is that you decide to take up as a hobby, it's going to help you feel more fulfilled. It's going to help it's going to help you find more fulfillment and be healthier mentally, physically, emotionally. In fact, the study that I was referencing earlier was conducted in 2023 by Nature Medicine. They sent researchers to conduct a study among 16 countries. And in these 16 countries, they wanted to know, how do hobbies correlate to various statistics of well-being. So this study tackles four main categories. The first being country wealth, the second being world happiness, or I guess happiness by country, the third being life expectancy, and then the first one just being an overall quality of life. And as you can see here, the study tracks hobby engagement on a percent scale, as well as number of individuals per capita that are positively affected. So for example, when Nature Medicine was setting out to find what are the wealthiest countries, or I guess, how do hobbies affect the wealth of a country, they found that the countries that have the highest hobby engagement also have the most wealth. And you can see there that upper quadrant is a country that is extremely wealthy per capita because or with a very high hobby engagement, close to 90 or 95%. And this was a very similar finding as they found with world happiness. So you can see that in the upper quadrant, there is a country that is extremely happy, and they graded that on an index score, 5.5 to 8 on this index. And you can see that the hobby engagement that reached about 95 to 96% had a happiness index score of almost 8, which is higher than any other country. And it's no coincidence that this topic of hobbies matters. It matters because it shows that populations are benefiting mentally, but they're also benefiting monetarily, right? Hobbies can help us engage in more activities that can stimulate us, that can give us greater goals than what we have, and it helps break up the monotony of life. So, as you can see in this study conducted by Nature Medicine, having hobbies is going to do a lot for us on a universal scale as well as on a very personal scale. And I think we can all relate to that. I think we all have hobbies that to us are just special, to us just help us, they just connect us, they ground us a little bit. Okay, and that leads into the next topic of psychological effects of having a hobby.
As Denham said, we were talking about the importance of hobbies and its effects on our mental health. My name is Jared Sparrow, and I'll be talking about the psychological effect that hobbies have on our mental health. A study published in September of 2023 in Nature Medicine examined hobby engagement among older adults across 16 countries and found a strong connection between having a hobby and better mental well-being. The researchers hypothesized that people who regularly participate in hobbies would have fewer depressive symptoms and greater life satisfaction. Regardless of their country, the findings supported this idea, showing that those with hobbies reported feeling happier, healthy, and more satisfied with life. According to the study, individuals who engaged in hobbies had fewer depressive symptoms. They had higher self-reported health, greater happiness, and higher life satisfaction. These benefits were observed across all countries studied, suggesting that hobbies have a universal positive impact on mental health. The study also noted that countries with higher life expectancy and national happiness tended to have more people participating in hobbies. Through individual participation was the strongest factor in well-being. In this visual it shows the countries that participated most in hobbies and the effects that they felt from having hobbies. They experienced fewer depressive symptoms, higher self-reported health, greater happiness, higher life satisfaction. So you can see that Japan, its darkest, shows that it engaged in these hobbies more. So they experienced more of these benefits that come from hobbies, compared to Europe, who didn't really report having hobbies. So they didn't experience a lot of the benefits that come from having hobbies. And then you have the United States, who's kind of in the middle. They have some who reported having hobbies, some who didn't, but they overall talked about how they didn't have as much depressive symptoms and they had higher reported health. And so basically, as the research concluded, having hobbies clearly better for psychological health than not having one. The study suggests that promoting hobby engagement could be an effective way to support mental well-being, particularly in older adults. So that brings up the question, what if you don't have any hobbies, or what if you don't know what to do with hobbies? Well, the quick answer is to find one. Try new things. The study shows that engaging in hobbies during leisure time can significantly reduce stress, as evidenced by research showing that 75% of participants had lower cortisol levels after making art. Cortisol is a hormone commonly associated with stress, and the reduction of its levels indicated a direct connection between creative activities and stress relief. The study found that prior experience in the activity was not necessary for stress reduction, meaning even the individuals without artistic background or skills benefited from that. This highlights that the therapeutic value of hobbies lies more in the active engagement with them than in the expertise one possesses with them. By incorporating hobbies into our daily life, individuals can experience relaxation and mental clarity, which helps manage the stress that builds up from work and other daily pressures. Whether it's painting, knitting, or gardening, the key is to find an activity that allows you to unwind and focus on something other than stress-inducing thoughts, which could be work or family issues, or you're just having a bad day. The more you engage in these activities, the more likely you are to experience improvements in well-being. So in essence, hobbies provide an accessible and enjoyable way to improve mental health. They provide lower stress and enhancing overall life satisfaction. It helps you not feel as depressed. It helps you feel better. It helps you feel more life satisfaction overall. Whether you think you're good at something or not shouldn't prevent you from doing what you love, because that's what's going to help you overall. At the end of the day, when you come home from work and you're feeling stressed, like things aren't going right, that's when you need to do what you want to do. Whether it's, again, knitting. For me, I play basketball. I'm not great at basketball, but it's what I do to decompress. It's what makes me happy at the end of the day. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for attending my segment of The Importance of Hobbies for Mental Health. My name is William, and today I will be talking to you specifically about how learning a musical instrument can help improve your mental health. I hope you enjoyed the little excerpt I played for you of some classical music. It's a personal favorite of mine. If you couldn't already guess, I've personally learned to play the piano, as well as the accordion, the organ, and the violin for a time when I was younger. I'm going to start by sharing my story with piano. In the summer of 2022, I had just finished a very long project and was looking for a new way to fill my time. I began spending my spare time at the piano. There are many benefits that I personally experienced in my learning process. This doesn't just apply to piano, it applies to all musical instruments. And I wish I could talk about all of those benefits, but for the sake of time, I have picked 3 main pros to look at. The progress I was able to make was very fulfilling, creating a cycle of more motivation to achieve. I soon realized that not only was piano a very fulfilling hobby, it alleviated emotional tension and helped me to cope with difficult things in my personal life. And then the third pro is discipline. The discipline that comes with mastering a musical instrument can be generally applied to all aspects of your life. Being disciplined is a very, very useful tool to keep your mental health in check. On to our next main point. I'm going to show some research to kind of help support this claim that learning a musical instrument will improve your mental health. In 2011, NIH, National Institute of Health, did a study on the cognitive effects on children who were learning a musical instrument and those who weren't. They found a significant increase in cognitive abilities such as memory, writing, language, and general IQ. This is one of many studies that have concluded that learning an instrument can improve your memory, attention, focus, and concentration. Now, especially these days, with social media, it's always shortening our attention spans, and being able to focus can definitely have an impact on your life. Mental health researchers at the University of Texas discovered that your anxiety and attention span are directly linked, meaning if you have a better attention span, your mental health will likely improve. They found that teens who have anxiety are also more likely to perform worse in school because of attention issues, so it goes both ways. They also saw a connection between anxiety and other mental health issues like depression and suicide. Basically, bad mental health will mean lower attention span and vice versa. Now, these are just 2 studies out of many that produce the same or similar results. Given all this information, we can pretty easily conclude that pursuing music as a hobby has a positive influence on your mental health. Now, how can you start on your own hobby? Even though I talked specifically about musical instruments, the aspects of a musical hobby can directly translate over to many other hobbies. The key is to begin with something that genuinely sparks your interest. Start small. Set aside just a little time each week, and don't really worry about being perfect. The goal is enjoyment and growth, as well as the scientific benefits that we discussed. Now, as you get more comfortable, you can increase your involvement. Try to meet others with similar interests to keep you accountable, keep you in check, and see how your hobby enhances your life. Thank you, everyone, for attending this segment. I hope you have a wonderful day.
I hope that you've enjoyed our group presentation so far. To finish off our presentation, I'd like to share with you my own personal journey with the hobbies that I have in my life and how they have improved my mental health. To start, I'd like to rewind and take us back to March of 2020, when COVID-19 first caused the world to shut down. At that time, all of our lives were turned upside down. We couldn't see family and friends very often. I, at the time, was a full-time student at Utah Valley University. I was a member of the UVU Drumline, the Green Man Group. I was actively involved in on-campus activities and student activities. But when COVID happened and shut everything down, I wasn't able to go to campus and socialize with my fellow students and to see my friends. I wasn't able to see my family members who I dearly loved out of fear of possibly giving them any sickness that might affect their health. And a couple months into the pandemic, my girlfriend at the time broke up with me, and it was really hard. to deal with that. So, on top of feeling alone and isolated, I was also heartbroken. It's a terrible combo to have. So, to overcome that feeling of isolation and being heartbroken, I got into some hobbies. One of those was weightlifting. This picture right here on the left is of me in July of 2020, towards the beginning of my weightlifting journey. I didn't really know what to do or how to work out really well. I kind of would just go to the gym and pick random weightlifting machines and just use them until I couldn't anymore. But as the years went by, I increased my knowledge of exercise science and of how to have a good workout, and I found exercises that I really enjoyed. Eventually, I soon came to love powerlifting. Fast forward 5 years later, these two pictures taken 3 weeks ago are my most recent powerlifting personal records. This is me squatting 445 pounds and me deadlifting 490 pounds in the same day. I am very proud of myself for how far I've come, but I'm especially proud of myself for staying committed and disciplined to this activity of weightlifting. It's a hobby that I love and that I want to get more involved with. And I have seen the benefits that it's brought to my mental health, of being happier, of feeling less stressed and less anxious, on top of the physical benefits that it's brought me as well. The second hobby that helped me through the COVID-19 pandemic was drumming. As I previously mentioned, I was a member of the UVU drumline, the Green Man Group, but I've been drumming since I was about 11 or 12 years old. With everything being shut down during the first couple months of the pandemic, I had a lot of free time on my hands where I could drum a lot. So I started recording drum covers where I would record myself playing along to popular songs. I got a lot of enjoyment out of it, being able to perfect my recordings so it sounded just like the original drum tracks, being able to practice my video editing skills, and being able to share those edited videos of my drum covers to my family and friends through social media. It was a lot of fun. And I'd like to share with you some of my drumming skills. Hope you like that. Now, weightlifting, drumming, they were great. They did so much good for my mental health. The third one, urbexing. I've been a history buff since I was a kid. I've loved history. And urbexing, also known as urban exploring, gave me the opportunity to physically experience history. I traveled throughout the whole state of Utah, visiting abandoned silver mines, visiting ghost towns. This picture right here and right here were taken at an abandoned silver mine in Park City. This was taken at an old ore chute outside of Eureka, Utah, about 40 minutes outside of Orem. Being able to physically experience history where people once lived and created our wonderful state of Utah is something that I found to be very cool, very fascinating. I still love to urbex when I have time, but being able to do that was a great outlet for me to be able to get outside of my head and not just be inside all day and by myself. These three hobbies helped me through the pandemic. It helped me get over my girlfriend breaking up with me. It helped me be able to cope with not being able to socialize very often. And I still have these hobbies today and they still benefit me. To close, I just want to reaffirm to you that hobbies are good for your mental health. Don't lose your hobbies. Don't lose your interests. Keep them up. Continue to have an interest in them. Science has proven, as Denham and Jared have talked to you about today, as well as William and my testimony have shown you, that hobbies are good for your mental health. They will continue to benefit you throughout your life. Keep them up.